Ridley Scott's 1979 sci-fi masterpiece Alien introduced audiences to a new kind of horror, a silent, deadly extraterrestrial stalking its prey through the cramped halls of the Nostromo. It was visceral, claustrophobic, and utterly groundbreaking. But what if I told you that one of its most iconic and controversial moments nearly turned out very differently? Sigourney Weaver, the film's unforgettable lead as Ellen Ripley, once proposed filming the final confrontation with the alien completely naked. Why did she want to strip it all away? Let's find out. Before we dive into the birthday suit debate, let's set the stage. Alien follows the crew of the Nostromo, a commercial spaceship diverted by their corporate overlords to investigate a mysterious signal on a remote planet. What begins as a simple detour soon devolves into terror as an alien parasite infiltrates their ranks, killing them off one by one. The alien itself, designed by surrealist artist H.R. Giger, was unlike anything audiences had ever seen. Biomechanical, disturbingly sexual, and terrifyingly lethal. The movie wasn't always destined for greatness. Screenwriters Dan O'Bannon and Ronald Shusett had originally titled their script Star Beast, a name O'Bannon hated until he noticed how often the word alien appeared in the dialogue. The change to alien gave the film an immediate simplicity and menace. And yet, getting the project off the ground was far from easy. Studio executives were skeptical about financing a sci-fi horror movie until the massive success of Star Wars made anything in space a hot commodity. Casting Ripley was another gamble. The role was originally written for a man, but producers thought a female lead would make the film stand out. Meryl Streep was considered, but passed due to personal reasons, paving the way for then unknown Sigourney Weaver to step into her first major role. It's impossible to imagine anyone else now. Weaver's performance as Ripley became iconic, blending intelligence, grit, and vulnerability in a way that redefined the sci-fi heroine. The production itself was grueling. The spacesuits were unbearably hot, causing actors to faint repeatedly. The alien, played by Nigerian student Bolaji Badejo, was so unwieldy that he couldn't sit down in costume. A custom swing was built to keep him off his feet between takes. And then there was the now legendary chestburster scene, which shocked audiences, and even the cast. Veronica Cartwright, who played Lambert, wasn't warned about the geyser of blood that would spray her way during the alien's emergence. Her horrified reaction? 100% real. But the film's most controversial moment came in its fourth act when Ripley, believing she's safe after escaping the alien, strips down to her underwear before entering hypersleep, only to realize the alien is still on board. The scene was meant to heighten her vulnerability before the final battle, but critics slammed it as gratuitous. Director Ridley Scott argued that Ripley's decision to strip was logical. After days of blood, sweat, and terror, wouldn't she want to shed her filthy clothes? Weaver herself defended the moment, but also had a surprising suggestion during filming. Why not ditch the underwear altogether? Weaver believed that Ripley stripping naked would underscore her raw humanity, contrasting with the alien's cold, otherworldly menace. After all, the alien was in its birthday suit the whole film. Why not Ripley? It wasn't about sex appeal for Weaver, but rather an artistic choice to highlight Ripley's complete exposure, both physically and emotionally, at her most perilous moment. Ridley Scott entertained the idea, and some early drafts of the script pushed boundaries even further, with scenes of the alien voyeuristically observing Ripley through glass, fascinated by her soft pinkness in contrast to its own grotesque form. There were even plans for quasi-sexual confrontation in the ship's shower. However, these ideas were ultimately scrapped, and Ripley remained in her now famous micro-knickers. The decision wasn't without fallout. Critics accused the scene of pandering to male viewers, while Weaver received backlash for demeaning herself by stripping. She later reflected that she'd underestimated how audiences might interpret the moment. James Cameron, who directed the sequel, Aliens, was among those who disapproved. He felt the scene crossed the line into unnecessary sexualization and made it his mission to create compelling female characters without relying on such moments. Despite the controversy, Ripley's final showdown with the alien remains one of the most memorable moments in sci-fi history. Stripped down to her most basic self, armed with only her wits and sheer will to survive, Ripley cemented herself as a true cinematic hero. The vulnerability of the scene, combined with Weaver's commanding presence, created a complex and unforgettable character, equal parts warrior and every woman. We can also credit the success of Alien to its incredible visuals and innovative storytelling. The Nostromo's gritty industrial design gave the film a grounded realism, while Giger's nightmarish alien designs brought an unsettling sexuality to the horror. From the facehugger's invasive attack to the chestburster's violent birth, the alien's life cycle played on primal fears of violation and reproduction. These elements, combined with Jerry Goldsmith's eerie score and Scott Slowburn direction, created a masterpiece of suspense. Interestingly, the story of Alien owes much to older works of science fiction and horror. O'Bannon cited inspirations like The Thing from Another World and B-movies like It the Terror from Beyond Space. The eerie alien eggs, meanwhile, were reminiscent of H.P. Lovecraft's tales of cosmic horror. Even the name Nostromo was a nod to Joseph Conrad's novel of the same name, adding a literary layer to the film's themes of corporate exploitation. And while Ripley's underwear scene stirred debate, it also contributed to the film's lasting legacy. In an era where female characters in horror were often reduced to helpless victims, Ripley emerged as a powerful and capable heroine who could save herself and the cat. The controversy only fueled discussions about the intersection of gender, horror, and sexuality, making Alien a cultural touchstone far beyond its genre. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think Ripley's controversial scene added to her character or distracted from the story? Let us know in the comments below.